We won't get much audience tonight.
But no. I mean, of course, there's a lot of people who might be watching the game with the sound off, like I am. Some of them might tune in, but basically, no, we won't have much tonight.
I don't think so.
But no.
How much longer is the Super Bowl going to go on?
But there's quite a bit left from the looks of it. And I have with me tonight three lovely ladies from Bisbee who are giving us, going to be giving us some information tonight regarding the general topic of voting. Christine, do you want to start out with general voting?
Right, I'd like to tell the listeners that we have several elections coming up this year, and I think tonight we're focusing on the first election, which will be March the 22nd, which is the presidential preference election.
What's the deadline to sign up or to register so you can vote in that?
The deadline to register will be on February the 22nd, and we need to remind voters that this is not an open primary. Only Democrats, Republicans, and Green Party will be allowed to cast a ballot. And there will be no voter registration on the day of the election, so people have to register in an official party by February the 22nd.
If you are an independent, if you're registered voter under the category of independent, you will not be allowed to vote. So you, in that March 22nd,
Because there's
yes,
a lot.
you will not be allowed to vote. You need to change your designation to either party to be allowed to vote in that
Okay,
March.
so you have to be registered as a Democrat or Republican
Correct.
by February 22nd.
to vote in the March presidential preference election. That is the important point to remind people, and they can register online at www.azsos.gov. That they can also register online at Service Arizona, and in person they can go to our library. Our local library has forms that they can fill out, and as well as the post office to fill out to change their designation. After that election, they can go back to their independent category. This is something my husband, who is an independent, is doing. He has to, in order to vote in that particular election, which the taxpayers are paying for, the cost of that statewide, that particular election is close to $10 million statewide.
Really, just for the PPE?
Just for the PPE.
Only took me about 10 minutes online, by the way. It's not that hard. Okay. All right, so Tami, what do you have for us?
All right, my main concern is that I don't think most of the voting public knows that we've changed from 64 poll locations. Last year there were 49. Now there are only 18 voting locations in the county. If you are from Bisbee, there's only one place to vote in Bisbee. No place in Naco, no place in Old Bisbee, no place in Warren. The one place to vote in Bisbee is at the First Baptist Church of Bisbee, 1173 State Highway 92. And I'm going to organize a carpool to get people from Naco and the various areas of Bisbee. So if you're available on March 22nd to give people rides, please call me. My number is 520-559-4875. And I have people right now from Naco, Warren, Old Bisbee. and San Jose that will give people two rides to San Jose. And please call me. And I'm also concerned, the people that don't have transportation, they're not going to be able to get there. They're probably low income. They're probably Democrats, and they're probably just going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to vote. I can't get there." So let's get every vote. Let's believe that every vote counts. I don't care who you're driving there. Just get people to the polls. And
All right.
in Douglas, there's only one place in Purteville. Instead of all the places that used to be in Douglas and Purteville, now there's only one place in Douglas, and that's at Douglas's Visitor Center, 345 East 16th Street. So if you know anybody in Douglas or Purteville that's available to give rides, they can call me and I'll try to figure something out for that. Anyway, I might go to the city council in Bisbee and see if we can get the bus. Churches, if you know somebody from a civic organization, any kind of organization that has a van, we need to get people to vote. Now,
So
Christine can tell you about how many people vote at the polls. I'm old-fashioned. I like to do it. It's a social thing, just like going out for a little drinky poo. I also like to go to the polls. So, but most people do like to mail in their vote, but not me.
And so I want to hear about this Bisbee for Bernie group. I've heard they seem to be very active locally. I want to know, what are they all about? Anyone?
Okay, well, they're very loosely group. It's kind of a Bisbee thing. We all kind of have that philosophical belief that Bernie is speaking for the disenfranchised and the poor, and we want equality. We want universal health care. We want the taxes to be raised on the 1%, not us. So there's lots of things that we have in common with Bernie, and we're pushing it, and we're all volunteering. We're not making any money. Bernie's getting average of $27 per person instead of hundreds of thousands of dollars from corporations.
Charlotte, how about you? Do you have any connection with that Bisbee for Bernie group?
I can tell you that personally, I support Bernie, his platform of raising the minimum wage to $15, ending the war on drugs, transforming our energy system. Especially important to me is universal health care. He wants to raise the taxes on the 1% and overturn Citizens United. Also, he wants free public college, and he wants to expand Social Security.
And
So-
how is he going to pay for all these things?
A transaction tax. If Wall Street paid 2 cents, think of it, just 2 pennies on their transactions.
You mean per transaction or not per dollar then?
No, not per dollar.
transaction.
If they did this, we could have health care for every American. It would be paid for completely.
Christine, what election comes after the PPE, after March 22nd?
Well, we have a very important election coming up on May the 17th, and it will be open to all voters. And we have Proposition 123, which is a tax issue having to do with funding the schools. And there could be more than one proposition on that ballot. But that election is open to everyone.
And so the May 17th election deals only with propositions?
Yes, it does. No candidates.
Okay, great, all right. So, and what's Proposition 123 all about?
Well, 123 is about providing funding for schools. It's quite a controversial issue, and hopefully we'll have some speakers coming to Bisbee to discuss the pros and cons. And I think that perhaps Tami knows about some people who will be speaking about the pros and cons of Proposition 123.
Okay, Tami, so what's good and or bad about Proposition 123?
Okay, I'm speaking as an individual, and everyone has to do their own little research and find out what you can go to the website, the ArizonaSOS.gov, and they have pros and cons there. But from my personal experience as being an educator, we voted for money being put in the budget for education. It's one of the people voted for it, and they've withheld that money for years now. And now, it should be billions of dollars that they owe us. And
You mean the
the state legislatures have chosen, and the governor, to use, I think it's the taxes of the percentage of the state land trust to pay off what they've owed us for years. That's my understanding. And basically, of course, I want my tax dollars to go to health and education. So of course I'm for that. And but the only thing is, if you vote, my understanding is, if you vote yes for 123, they are going to give us a percentage of what they owe us. And I say that's better than nothing. Now other people say no to Proposition 123 because they're blackmailing us. If we say no, we won't get any money, but I'm afraid that we won't ever get any money ever. So I say yes because I think it's better than nothing. They're bleeding the public schools terribly, and I think more money is going into private charter schools. But I'm here speaking as an individual. I belong to a political party and I have positions, but I'm not. We are just speaking for what we want people to be educated
Right,
upon.
so it sounds like a fairly complex issue,
It is.
this 123 thing.
Oh, well, the Mill Mountain Democrats, this is a public announcement, we are going to have Joy Mims, that is running for Cochise County School Superintendent, at our meeting. We have meetings every second Saturday of the month, and she will be there, here it is, March 12th, and Kim Kennedy from the school board might come, might not.
March 12th.
March 12th.
At what location?
At Bisbee Community Y at 26 Howell Avenue, a block up from the Copper Queen Hotel. And the meetings start at 10, and the guest speakers usually start at 10:20. It's free. I provide a little refreshment, a little cake or fruit or juice or something, coffee. But really, we want to encourage people to come to these meetings because we bring candidates that are state candidates, federal candidates, county candidates, and city candidates, and discuss the issues. And we need to get it out in the open. I encourage anybody to come. Christine, do you want to talk about how to register to vote?
Okay, as you might realize, about 75% of people now vote by mail. But
Statewide?
Right. And in the county, it's a very high percentage of people who choose to vote by mail. So the people who go to the polls in each election, the number is becoming smaller each election. And so most people do vote by mail. And to register to vote, we'd like to repeat that you need to be a registered member of a political party to vote in the PPE. And it's really easy to register to vote, and I think that's been covered here. Did you have any specific question about?
Yeah, suppose I've never voted, at least not in Arizona, and I don't really care about the PP, any of that. I just want to vote for the president and maybe the governor. Then what do I need to do?
So the actual presidential election is on November the 8th, and everybody will be eligible to vote in that election. And in Arizona, we have a primary August the 30th. However, that is also open to everyone. It's, the different parties will be selecting who will be running in the general election.
Oh, and that's on August 30th?
That's August the 30th, and that's definitely an open primary election.
Oh, okay.
So independents will be able to select a
good.
ballot.
Okay, so I don't need to be a Democrat or Republican or Green.
But their last day to register is August 1st. for
Right, the
primary.
last day to register for the August 30th primary is on August the 1st.
August 1st, okay, anyone out there who wants to be able to vote in the primary or at least in the general election itself, which is November 8th.
And it's very important to note that our legislature has created somewhat of a system of voter suppression. So it's not that easy to register to vote anymore. You have to provide proof of citizenship. Not everybody has that.
Well, how about my driver's license?
Your driver's license, an Arizona driver's license is adequate. There's quite a few people who don't have an Arizona driver's license, so they can show their passport, they can show their birth certificate, but if their birth certificate has a different name on it, they have to prove how their name was changed.
Ah, okay.
So it's
Wow.
not as easy to register to vote as it used to be.
Mhm.
And then for people who go to the polls, they have to have ID in order to vote there.
Like a photo ID?
A photo ID with an address that matches the address on the voter list.
Wow. Okay, so it is a bit more complex.
It is definitely more complex than it used to be.
Did you get a chance to speak to Katie Howard from the elections department about people that live in Old Bisbee and are registered to vote, but you can vote in any one of the 18 voting centers in the county, and then your where you are and what precinct, does that make a difference? No? Well then what about if on my voter card it says my P.O. box in Old Bisbee, but I actually live in San Jose? Is there going to be a problem when I get to the poll?
Hopefully, your driver's license will scan on the tablet perfectly, but it's something that I am currently discussing with the elections director, because we are very concerned about those aspects of scanning your driver's license if it doesn't have your address. So that's something we're trying to discuss with our elections director. And I think it's important to note that although my office is in charge of voter registration, we are not in charge of the election process itself.
So who runs the elections?
The Cochise County Board of Supervisors, and they have hired a very fine person, Katie Howard, to run the elections department. But we have to coordinate very closely, so hopefully with our new election system, we will be able to make sure that as many people vote as possible.
And I just noticed on my license, it only has a P.O. box.
That's
Because
something.
I don't get home delivery, so will
That's something we're addressing to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay,
Their telephone number, the telephone number for the Board of Supervisors is 432-9200. The website for the Cochise County Elections Department is www.cochise.az.gov.
and then I can get election information
You can
that
get
way.
all
Okay.
the information we're discussing right now through that website. And also, I don't think we mentioned tonight that there are new voting machines. They were installed, what month was that, Christine?
I think they were purchased last summer for $1.1 million.
So we have new machines so it won't look just the same for people going to vote.
Right. I think our elections director is advertising them as just like using an ATM without the cash.
Oh, so you don't have punch-out cards?
No,
in it?
it's a touch screen.
Oh, okay.
These the dieballed
Yeah.
hacked voting machines. Talk about that.
Something I would like to add is that if you vote early, no ID is required.
Right.
Really? Voting by mail?
Voting
huh?
by mail requires no ID, and the recorder's office checks every signature and compares it to what we have on file.
So I just need to go down to the recorder's office in Bisbee?
Well, if
I
you're
wanna
going
vote
to go,
early?
this is something new. If you're going to go to the recorder's office and vote, you will use the same computers that will be used at the polling locations.
But I don't have to show my ID at the recorder's office?
Well, you'll be signing there.
Yeah, but do
That's
I
right.
produce my photo ID?
Well, we're not going to have, let's see, I think we'll be scanning your ID on the tablet.
Okay.
And the first time we're going to be trying that out is at the PPE.
All right, so I'll need some kind of ID.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Uh,
But anyway,
if you come to the recorder's office, we will be able to identify who you are there.
All right, and that's on Melody Lane in
Yes,
Bisbee?
1415 Melody Lane. I think
It's
something,
the county complex.
right,
Yeah, okay.
something that hasn't been discussed is that the polling locations are vote centers. So you can vote any place in the county.
Anywhere in the county, huh?
And we have 18 polling locations, which are now called vote centers. But the inconvenient part is, there's only 18 of them, and we used to have, a few years ago, 64 polling locations. Now we only have 18 vote centers.
Wow, okay, so 18 locations in the entire county, but you can go to any one of the locations you want if you're a Cochise County voter.
And we can't stress enough that please plan ahead, because there will be no polling location in Old Bisbee, Warren, Naco, Saginaw, any place.
No St.
except
Pat's.
No. There will be one polling location at the Baptist Church in the San Jose area.
Okay, thanks. Well, we've filled our half hour here, although we may have to edit out my coughing fit at the beginning. We'll see, but we definitely plan on rebroadcasting this. So for those of you who weren't listening to the radio on a Sunday night, which is also the Super Bowl night, and so anything.
Please vote. Please get
Okay.
out and vote, and please encourage any of your independent friends registered as independents to get their registered, for one party or the other by the 22nd of this month, because the presidential preference election, which has been paid for by the taxpayers, is so important to get a candidate on the ballot.
All right.
We
Well,
thank you very much.
thanks, Charlet, LePard, and Tami, Birch, and Christine Rhodes. And we're going to head on out of here on open mic tonight. I'll be continuing with a bit of music, but this part of the show is over.
You try pushing these push pins. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Oh, whoop. There's the push pin.